Hello, I'm Steven, the calculator guy, and this is the big one. This is a calculator that I've been working on for a while, and I've had the idea about it for a while, and I finally decided to make it. So this is sort of the beta version, and you can see right now I have 12 people who are using it, and this is not to consider anyone who's copied it. These are all patrons. If you want access to this immediately, you can become a patron. They have access to all my paid calculators for as low as $10 a month. Whereas I'm going to sell this calculator for much more than $10 a month. So anyways, let's get into it. Basically, the way this thing works is you enter a portfolio value. In this case, $10,000, $100,000, but we can even do, who knows what that is? $10 million, right? Who knows? Let's take up a few zeros. 1 0. Let's do $10,000, right? Reasonable size investment. And then you determine what your risk appetite is. So in this case, we've done 20%. We want to go to low risk investments, 40% to medium risk investments, 30% to high risk investments, and then 10% to totally degenerate, super high risk investments. Clearly the highest returns, but also the most amount of risk. So like if you get rugged on any of these, you can't ever blame the person who told you about them because they're, they're dangerous, but potentially high returns. So anyways, the fiat below will tell you how much is going to be invested to each risk category. Like for example, if you change this to 15 and you change this to 45, you can see how the fiat is now reflecting that change. Okay, so after that, you want to select these protocols. So I have put in my updated APY on these dates, and I'm going to hopefully attempt to update these once a week. At least that's the goal, and if I can, depending on how much I make from this calculator, like how much interest is generated, is probably going to determine how often I update it. So if there's a lot of interest in this calculator, I'll update it frequently. If there's not much interest, then it's going to take me way more time than it's worth to update this, but I imagine there's going to be some interest in this calculator. So I'm going to try to update it frequently. Also, I'm probably going to use this for myself. So anyways, that's the day updated. But let's just go through what's going on from the left to the right. So the left has a link to the protocol. Some of these links will take you straight to where you're supposed to invest. Some of these links will take you to the basic protocols. This one will just take you to Trader Joe, whereas some of them may take you straight to the lending portion of Sushi, where you can just go straight to lending USDT here. Okay, so in this case, you have the protocol and a link. Then you have the assets, so you can sort of find out what you're doing there. The risk level, which you can change if you like. I've sort of selected what I believe these are at, but if you want to change these risk levels, you're more than welcome to. So these are what I put them at. I'm getting my sort of risk analysis. Then the APY, and then the type. So if you look at types, you have stable, which is just stable coins, right? Sort of speaks for itself. If these protocols are simply using stable coins and nothing else, it's going to be a stable type. Blue chip, for me, these are coins. So coins are the proprietary token, the proprietary asset of a native blockchain. So like you have Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, AVAX, Phantom, One, etc., Matic. And I consider these blue chip because they're going to be, multi-billion-dollar market cap, and generally speaking, they don't fluctuate as much. Though of course we've seen some of them nearly double and 50% in a couple days. But like you want to hold these tokens at least now while DeFi is having a good run. Pseudo delta neutral. If you've seen any of my videos, you know what pseudo delta neutral is. It's just leveraged yield farming with minimal exposure to price variation. It's a complicated way of saying it's a decent yield farming strategy. Delta neutral is really nice. I don't think we have any on here at the moment. Anchor is the only one that I know about. That's a sort of true-ish delta neutral, and even that's not true delta neutral because of the farming aspect, but it's pretty close to delta neutral. Nodes, I only have one node on here at the moment. I may add Pack and Gala, though Gala, my goodness. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there wishing they got into Gala when they learned about it. anyways, well done if you did. These are just anything that didn't quite fit the bill here. Then Signorage, I don't know how to pronounce this. I should probably learn how to pronounce this. But these are protocols like Tomb and Tomb forks, but also technically anything you do with like the Luna burning and minting mechanism would be technically a form of signage, and Vader, which is an up-and-coming protocol that I'm very excited about. Reserve currency, so these are like your ohms and ohm forks. Ohm, time, Clima. I don't have many of these because I'm not going to put them on there because I don't want you guys to get burnt by them. And I generally am bearish on ohm forks, at least at the moment. If I see a change in the charts, then I'll have a change of heart. Hey, that rhymed. Okay, so then the chain, there we go. But so even though I have various on here, really we're not going to use various very much because these particular strategies are specific in almost every case to a chain. So like Spooky Spot you can access for most things, but like so Beefy, right? There's probably a USDC pair on virtually every chain, but the USDC/USDCE is specific to Avalanche, and both of these should be medium. No, sorry. Okay, no. Trader Joe is low, Beefy's medium. That's correct. Because Beefy, you're just adding one more layer of smart contract risks. I consider that upping it to a medium risk. All right, and then invest. So this is where things get interesting. These are where we start choosing our protocols. So let's say we really like Curve and we want maybe the best Curve protocol. Let's go with the Korean currency, which is right here. And this is a low risk, nearly 50% APY. That's fantastic. It might be like 40% now, but still really like this one. And if you've been to South Korea, like I am not afraid of their currency experiencing hyperinflation at all. Okay, they're great country. Bitcoin, Ethereum, yeah, I like this one. Medium risk on farmers only. It's on Harmony, but I think I don't believe there's any deposit fee, and there might be like a 0.1% withdrawal fee, but that's standard. I don't mind that. So that's really good, if I remember that correctly. And then I want some higher. Let's see, we have low, medium, high. Atlas USDC. This is a pseudo delta neutral. Maybe I'll throw that on there. Maybe I'll throw in Bomb and Static, which is really popular right now. And maybe I like DopeX. So I'll do the 7,000 version because that's, even though it says degen, it's less risky than the more degenerate one, which is right here, because you're at less risk of having your strike called if you know DopeX. Okay, so look, now it's built a strategy for us, and it tells us how much we should invest based off of our risk level. So what this does is it looks at how many. So I have 3 degen, so it's going to take this and divide it by 3. So it's saying I'm going to do an equal amount in each one of these protocols. And say, well, for high, medium, and low, I only have 1, but it would also divide those if I want to. So I can click around now, a few other ones if I want to, just to sort of illustrate that will divide it up. And then we can sort of see our APY is 135 for our whole strategy, which is pretty good. Eventually, I want to break this down by risk so that you can see your APY for your low, APY for your mediums, APY for your highs, which you can actually see here, sort of like you're going to have an average of about 42% there. Medium is going to be 73. High is going to be somewhere around, I don't know, 400-ish, 300 something, maybe 500 actually. And then with these, it's anyone's guess really how these will end up inevitably. Okay, so blue stuff you can change, remember that. So when you go to the investment projector, so all these ROIs are in APY, not APR. You can do like 10 days, for example, and see what your ROI would be in 10 days, or 5 weeks, whatever. As a reminder, the closer to the present you are, the more accurate these are going to be, and the farther in the future you get, the more speculative these are going to be. So like 1 year at 135, that's much more speculative than the 1 day at 0.17%. Also, the assumed APRs are based off of these APYs. So at the moment, I only have APYs entered, and for some of these, they may actually be an APR, but the vast majority of them were APY, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to do APRs in the event that there are APRs. So everything right now is in APY, which is a flaw, but I'm working on it. Okay, so the assumed APR is just a mathematical equation. You can see it up here that takes the APY and deconverts it and changes it back into APR with the assumption that the compounding happens roughly once daily. Now, even if it happens once weekly, the number is going to be roughly the same. So I needed the assumed APR in order to create the ROIs. So that's sort of what this is doing. And maybe other people want to know what the assumed APR is, just so they can more accurately look at their own projections. So that's why I have that there. Okay, so again, from the top, what does this do? This takes in a portfolio number, takes in risk appetites, and then allows you to select protocols based off that. Also, it's a really just nice curated list of some of my favorite protocols that will hopefully be updated semi-regularly, at least have the APY updated semi-regularly, and also maybe I will add some to this as I find them. Speaking of which, you can also add your own. So if you want to add here, super simple, you just type the name, asset, you would select whatever it is, type in the APY, select the type, select the, all that. So you can also add your own protocols if you want. You can select them and they will pop up and populate in the suggested strategy. And I'll show you that. So again, protocol, asset, let's do high, let's do that. Doesn't really matter. But let's just select it, right? And so now, see, it pops up and it's calculated. So there you go. Oh, what happened? Why is it? You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that row because it kind of made things look silly. Okay. And why is this? Oh, I copied and pasted something kind of. I see. Okay. No worries. I know what happened. All right. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you want access to this before anyone else, just go ahead and join the Patreon. Otherwise, I will be selling this at a price. I'm not sure what that price is going to be. I imagine, depending on how much more I build this out and depending on how much work I put into maintaining it, it's going to be anywhere between $100 and $200. So that's what I'm guessing I'm going to sell it at. But yeah. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and Happy New Year's.